Hey, it's Kevin. I thought I would give an update on my GMC 2024 Sierra Denali EV. I've had it since August 2024. I have about 28,000 miles on it. And quite honestly, I like driving it, right? I mean, it's an electric vehicle. It has that smooth feel. Some people might say, hey, it has some torque steer. I don't step on it like that. I'm just driving, right? So if you're looking for a sports car, yes, it might have some torque steer. I think it's comfortable to drive. I think it's like any electric vehicle, right, that has a smooth acceleration. It took a little bit to get used to one pedal driving, but that's just fine. The range is fine, right? I mean, it's got a big battery. I'm in Minnesota. Again, the winters are cold, so I get about half during the winter. And I would say, I'm warming the vehicle up too, so I'm sure that doesn't help. So I like the big screen on it. So a lot of the electric features are just fine, right? I mean, the GMC general lineup, I like the adaptive cruise, the cameras. I'm not a big fan of the auto or super cruise. I think it wobbles too much around, so I don't really find it steady. So I wouldn't say that that's something I really like. But overall, generally, the vehicle itself, I think it drives fine, it's comfortable, it's got enough room. But let's go over some of the bad things about it. So you've heard this already, the tonneau is terrible. So I'm not sure if they're coming with tonneaus now or if that's an aftermarket, but the one that originally came on the 2024s, I've not looked at recently at what's out there for replacements, but I do believe there's some hard tops. The tonneau it blows off or blows around, wobbles a lot, flaps a lot, and has ripped in certain spots. So the tires seem to be fine. However, when you start looking to see, hey, what am I gonna have to do to replace these? Michelin is the only game in town. They only have 2 tires. I've seen no other tires for that wheel size. I'm assuming you could probably get some different wheels to put on there, but then that's a hassle as well. Some of the big concerns or problems I have right now is I've had some issues, which I expected. So I'm actually on battery number 3. So if you go back and look at some of my previous videos, about 3 months in, I got a call from GM and they wanted to know if I could they would swap out my battery. So they put a new battery in April, I think, or maybe a little before that, December, January. So they put a battery in. Unfortunately, they arranged to have it all set and done, and then my vehicle sat in the shop for 3 weeks waiting for a battery. So parts availability, I did have another issue with the compressor. Again, that sat in the shop again for another 3 weeks waiting for that compressor to come because there's a bearing issue. That's a concern that I'm having regarding just parts availability. Is that going to get better? I'm not sure. I would also say another thing that I've noticed is that I do use it to power things, and it's great, it's convenient, but it does have its limitations, so you just have to understand those limitations. I tried to run I think it's a 3 horsepower or 2 horsepower table saw, and it would turn in. It's a 120 volt table saw, or excuse me, a 120 volt 20 amp table saw, and it would not run it. It just maxed it out. It would turn, but it wouldn't run it. The same thing out of the 220 outlets. I tried to run a bandsaw, and again, it would turn it, but I'm assuming these motors probably have a heavy drag on the very beginning or a heavy amperage usage on start. It's kind of what my assumption is, and that's why they really didn't work. But otherwise, they've worked fine with that. On that, I would say that something that frustrates me when I do use that is that when you turn on the power station on mine, it activates basically your interior sound and Bluetooth. So I'm sitting there running my shop, heating my shop during the winter, and if my phone rings, it's connected to my truck outside. So I ended up having to turn off Bluetooth, and I forget to turn it back on. So GM needs to come up with a way to automatically have that turn off. Same thing with the radio. If you leave the radio on, it just automatically is on. So I can hear music out there playing when I'm running that. So they should really have a question, do you want this when you turn power station on? Do you want your radio on? Do you want your Bluetooth on? And have you either shut them off or turn them on or something like that. So that. I will say the last thing that I'm going to kind of gripe about is that my dealers seem to do a pretty fine job. You know, I've worked with this dealer for, since 1992 or 93, I think. Always treated me fairly, but recently, as you may recall, there was an update that came out that enabled the features for, I think, video on park mode or something like that. It's so that you can watch Amazon Prime or Netflix, and I think there's some games on there and stuff like that. There was went from SBQ5 to SBQ6 or something like that. When it was sitting in the shop the last time, because I had my third battery, sorry I forgot that, so I had another battery, which again took 3 weeks, so battery number 3. It sat in the shop again for 3 weeks, and I'd asked them to make sure it was all up to date. They said they did it all up to date. I got it back, it wasn't up to date. I sent them the info again, all that stuff. They told me it's all up to date, everything's fine. So I called a different dealer and mentioned it, and they said, hey, have them look at this TSB, which I'd already given them to look at, and I said, no, I want you to do it. I brought it in there, and they had it done the next day. And they also said they did some other updates that needed to be done. So I just don't know if it was my dealer, if there's other dealer availability issues out there or knowledge issues, but I've seen on Facebook and other places that people having a problem with their dealers getting their dealers to do this. So that was the other thing. So I have concerns over reliability. I guess that's going to be my big takeaway. I like driving the vehicle. I know they say they have an 8-year, 100,000 miles on the battery, but if every single time I have something go wrong with that battery, I start having issues, I got to lose my vehicle for 3 weeks, that's not acceptable. I will say that the last time I did take it in, a couple of times I just got whatever standard used vehicles. This last time they put me in a 2026 GMC Sierra SLT with 1,500 miles on it. So, and that was actually from Enterprise. So that's what they did for me this last time. My challenge with that is that I go to the dog park twice a day with 2 dogs, and I don't want to wreck a vehicle, so I had to be very cautious, not taking them as much and stuff like that. So that's a quick update. I will probably have more in a few months, and we'll talk to you then. Thanks.